I got a new harmonica.
Oh, yeah? What key is it in?
C.
Oh, okay.
Which I was kind of bummed about, but
Why?
I like G.
That's almost the same key, dude.
I know, but I'm just like G.
They are the same key, in my opinion.
But it's cool. It has the changer on it. I've never actually seen
The
one.
changer?
Yeah, it has a little, I don't know what it's called. Obviously, I'm not schooled. No, it has a little knob on the side. When you push it in, it changes the pitch up.
Oh, okay.
So it's like 2 in 1.
So it has a half a step to key change to C sharp.
Yeah. And it has 12 holes, which is cool too, because a lot of the time they only go up to 10, so you have to use 1 and 2 to. Yeah, it's cool. It's pretty.
I just think of Aerosmith whenever someone brings up a harmonica most of the time.
I think of Bruce Springsteen, but okay. The guy likes his harmonica, but why?
So does
Aerosmith?
Steven Tyler.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
I don't
dude.
really know Aerosmith.
He started playing the harmonica a lot on like that album Get a Grip. Like the song Crazy has like he has an entire harmonica solo in it.
They're pretty, I don't know. Mouth harpy. Doing. I want a mouth harp too.
This is the coolest fucking opening ever, dude.
Hey, harmonicas are cool.
It's just the energy is so low because you're just like harmonica.
Harmonicas are cool.
I gotta do harmonica.
What do you want me to be? Fuck your harmonica. Rock out, bro.
Fucking harmonica, man. Hell yeah.
I'm gonna play Crazy Train. Like the solo, all in harmonica. Like what?
That would actually be super impressive.
I don't know what that would be. Pass out. But yeah. Welcome to our podcast about harmonicas and the history. It's an AARP episode.
I quit.
This is Tom.
This is Jacob. This is Tommy.
Jacob's mix. Hello.
Hi. I will. What's the line? I'll tell you in another life when we are both cats.
Meow.
Meow. He loses his shit with that, man.
Yeah, that's a pretty terrifying thing. Hello, welcome back, everyone. Before we start that, we are, well, I wanted to start off with the get-go that if you have not seen this movie, turn this off.
Yeah, probably.
This is kind of a you need to know this movie kind of one, I feel like.
I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot of spoilers. And this is like a spoiler. This is like the movie takes you through a journey. And if you don't really know what that journey is, then it kind of ruins the journey if it's spoiled for you.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like a Fight Club that if you've already seen it, watching it a second time is cool because you start catching things that you 100%, didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are doing...
And you can watch this for free right now. If you are not free, but if you are subscribed to Paramount Plus.
Yes, it is on Paramount Plus. It is 2001's Vanilla Sky.
Mm-hmm. Which is a remake.
Yes, of a 1997 film called Open Your Eyes and Take It Away. What's...
Abre los ojos?
Yeah, there you go. That. It's a Spanish film.
Yes.
Released in 97. But
which actually I'm curious to actually I kind of want to watch it now.
Yeah, I was looking for it.
And I'm really excited to put it on and be like and actually just have it all be in Spanish and me understand only like 20% of it. But hey, that's actually a good way for me to like start like hearing and learning.
Yeah, that's what I was like. You should start watching Spanish.
Yeah. I want to start watching like Spanish soap operas.
I saw.
I
saw an entire. Now I wish I'd known that because I saw an entire season of The Simpsons on Blu-ray, and it was a Spanish, brand new.
And it was just Spanish dubbed.
Yeah,
I mean, you could probably turn off the Spanish dub.
Well, but I'm just saying, it all was automatically in Spanish, and there you go. Simpsons would be a fun.
I mean, I could just start watching Sesame Street in Spanish. You know, that's what Bruce Banner did in the Hulk.
He didn't.
Incredible Hulk.
Wasn't it Portuguese? It was Portuguese.
Yeah, he was in Portugal. That's right. Yeah.
No, he was in Brazil.
He was learning a language through Sesame Street.
Drinking Guaraná.
Anywho, Vanilla Sky is what we're talking about. We want to. All right, so I think we've given whoever the listener a long enough time to step away if they want to step away. Do you want to give a synopsis of what this movie is?
Yeah, to not get into much of the spoiler thing, I just wrote down a millionaire playboy must rediscover himself after an accident that leaves him disfigured and broken.
Yeah.
Because it is a lot about a journey of self-discovery.
Yes. In
a way.
One of my favorite lines in the movie is when he's talking with...
I swallowed your cum, it means something.
No, that's a great line as well. Cameron Diaz is fantastic. No, it's when he's at Sophia's apartment that night, and he's like, Sergio, that's a nickname? She's like, yeah, don't you have a nickname? And he's like, Citizen Dildo. And she's like, you're not staying over tonight. But I love that line of Citizen Dildo because it's actually it's a reference to Citizen Kane in a fun way. And like the idea of him being isolated, rich and
removed from reality.
Oh, that's right. And I was like, who the fuck is the cleaner? The cleaner is here still. Tom. All right. Anywho, but yeah, I feel like this movie is really, I really enjoyed it again. For me, this is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's a good thinker. There were, I guess, yeah, we're kind of doing that. What did you think of it? I'm kind of torn about it because I did have moments where I felt like it was really patting itself on the back for being as clever as it was.
Yeah.
And that's just, in general, annoying for anything to do.
It definitely feels like Tom Cruise was just like,
look
fun. How fucking... I found this really cool film that I wanted to make for myself.
Yeah. I produced it. I guess who's going to star in it? Me. Yeah.
It's like, I imagine Tom Cruise watching
We Know Tom.
Abre los Ojos and being like, I want to be that... I want to be this character.
It's weird though thinking about that, like him going to watch Open Your Eyes and at this festival, Sundance. I feel like especially for a movie that like got his mind going, I feel like he'd be really intense to watch a movie like that with. Just real. At the end of it, just. Then would like yell at you if you wanted to talk about it. So what'd you think? I'm digesting, But yeah, so, how do we want to start this? So as we said, yes, based on 97's film Open Your Eyes, which was directed in...
Yeah, so originally written, directed by Alejandro, Amenábar, and Mateo Gil, who... They worked together on a couple of things. Alejandro Amenábar, he also directed The Others with Nicole Kidman.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, even the Open Your Eyes, the original Spanish version, was ranked at number 84 in the top 100 sci-fi list by the Online Film Critics Society.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm really... Well, and that's kind of the thing with this movie, too.
It was an official selection at Sundance, yeah.
I'm really curious about the original one because it is described a lot as like an art film.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this felt like it was trying to be. But the budget, but it's like, it's Hollywood trying to make an art film.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, I don't know, it's not bad in that sense. It's just a weird vibe. Because a lot of the times art films you see from back in the day are kind of grungy and kind of they have this lower quality, and then but it's kind of
it sounds like a what dreams may come vibe.
Yeah, it's like that vibe, but then it also has a lot of Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind kind of motif.
Yeah, that's also very indie though.
But that's what that's
it's like Hollywood trying to make an indie film.
Yeah, but it's like Eternal Sunshine.
It's like Tom Cruise tried to make an independent film
with like a $68 million budget or something like that.
We gotta shut down New York, guys.
What the flying fuck?
Could you imagine how terrifying that'd be to walk down New York, like the Times Square like that, and there's no one?
How much would that cost?
So apparently they did it over the course of 6 weeks, only like in a very allotted time of Sunday mornings, when pretty much as quoted was when New York was slow to get up. So like
so they looked at like trends and
like the city allowed them to block off only like I think it was only for like a couple hours a day.
Set up
Sunday
shut
morning.
down.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so they had spaces that they like warehouses they would go and they would rehearse. Like Tom Cruise would be there with the camera person, so then he knew
exactly what to do.
Yeah, so then they could just get in and get the fuck out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. I was just sitting there like, we'll say just for those that maybe don't remember or haven't seen it, even though you did listen to our warning. Towards the very beginning of the film, Tom Cruise has an entire scene where he's running through the streets of New York. It ends up in a completely empty Times Square, and it is kind of
eerie.
Mind-blowing. Just the entire, not only the shot is really eerie, but just the thought process of what like one of the most populated the like most populated city in the country, and they emptied it, and it's Times Square. It's just like, it's kind of mind-blowing. And the fact that, in today's day you think, oh well, you could do that with special effects. No, this is MGS Times Square. It's just really impressive, actually.
It's very impressive. Well, before we kind of get more all into that, so yeah, you said it came. So this came out December 10th. Well, Hollywood premiere 2001, official like release December 14th. I think it was also kind of like maybe rushed or pushed for like the end of 2001. I think they were hoping for Oscar stuff with this.
Yeah,
which I can totally see because Cameron Crowe is already like Oscar nominated, Oscar winner, Jerry Maguire, stuff like that. And this just kind of like missed the missed the target.
Missed it.
But also I think that's because of it being a remake too. But really quick for 2001, keeping up our stuff. How many movies did you have?
50.
I said like 42 to 47 because there's like Bubble Boy. I know I've watched, but I couldn't really tell you everything that happens in Bubble Boy.
You've definitely watched Bubble Boy.
Yeah.
Knowing you, there's no way you did.
Yeah, no, right?
There's no way.
But yeah, so yeah, we already went through who did the original of Open Your Eyes. So let's go into actually more of this film. So, director and official like screenplay adaptation was done by Cameron Crowe, who, as I just kind of said, also he did Jerry Maguire,
Say Anything,
Elizabethtown, Singles, which if you haven't seen, I've only seen bits of it. Singles is a fun little like early 1990s set in Seattle, about the young adults living in Seattle during like the grunge.
You've brought this up before, and I don't remember why.
It has like Eddie Vedder, Chris Cornell, like they play little like bit parts, but like Matt Dillon, Bridget Fonda are like the leads in the movie. He wrote and directed that. And he also wrote and directed, he did Almost Famous, which is actually semi-autobiographical. Cameron Crowe was a 16-year-old kid writing for Rolling Stones.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you know the movie Almost Famous, right? Yeah. Yeah, so that's him. That's like what he went through.
Interesting.
Right? I didn't know, one, that it was autobiographical. I just thought it was kind of interesting. And two, like Cameron Crowe, I was like, oh, fuck, dude, Cameron Crowe. Like, Cameron Crowe's had a weird career. He also turned Almost Famous into a Broadway musical and it won a Tony.
Nice.
Yeah.
That actually kind of works.
Right?
Clearly it won a Tony, but I'm like, the premise of Almost Famous works for a Broadway musical.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you wouldn't really think, but once you hear it, you're like, okay, yeah, I can see that.
And like the fictional band of Stillwater is like super like loosely based off of like the Allman Brothers and like all like because he like toured with like Allman Brothers, Led Zeppelin, like all of the like bands at the time that were like super popular that the older people in Rolling Stones didn't want to write about. And they were just like, yeah, let the kid have it. Yeah. But they also didn't know he was like 16. He was lying about his age.
Huh. Interesting.
So yeah, that's Cameron Crowe. Oh, he also just recently did he has a show on Showtime. Fuck. I don't have my tabs up and I don't want to open them while I'm recording right now. So I don't want
roadies.
Roadies, thank you.
I got you know me, I got everything open.
Do you now?
Roadies, yeah.
Road
crew, host, rock bands.
But like also, so the reason why Cameron Crowe also adapted this was what movie was it that they were just coming off of? I think it was just coming off of Almost Famous. Cameron Crowe was like talking about how
You are correct.
he had like this like crew around him that kind of felt like a band in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like really liking everybody that was around. And Tom Cruise invited Cameron Crowe over to watch Open Your Eyes, because Tom Cruise was like, I want to remake this. I want to make this movie so I can be the guy. Saying Cameron Crowe was like, well, I mean, I got this group of people that I really love working with, and we just like had a big good hit. What fun would it be to kind of like, you know, do like as a band like a cover of another big hit type thing? And that's kind of how he approached it.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, kind of like do our little like take it and make it like a little twist on it and like have fun, you know. So it was about like just like continuing wanting to work with these people, and also, you know, working with Tom Cruise again, who he had a blast with Jerry Maguire with. You complete me.
The zoo's fucking closed, Ray.
What?
The zoo's fucking closed.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite line of that movie.
I like how that's the one you go to.
It's funny.
As opposed to like,
but it's like,
show me the money.
No, that's what I go to. Because he's
Or-
wasted. The zoo's
Who's coming with me? Come on. Who's coming with me?
Tom Cruise's energy matches Nicolas Cage, and it scares me.
Actually, I think Tom Cruise is a lot more intense than Nicolas Cage. Yeah,
It's like,
I'm gonna get murdered today. Nicolas Cage is like, oh, dude, like fucking take a breath.
Tom Cruise knows a very dark secret and thinks it's really funny. You know, like when he does that.
Yeah, it's called Scientology.
That's what my mom said. I watched this with my mom. This is an interesting watch with my mom. Heavy.
Has she ever watched it before?
She did, but like halfway through, no, not even halfway, probably a quarter way through it, she was like, I remember I did watch this, but I do not have any recollection of what happens. So that was kind of fun.
Fair. There was definitely
There's bits I didn't remember.
A moment where it kind of got choppy for me, where I was like, oh, I don't remember anything from like this moment until the end. And I was like, and I remembered the end not very vividly, but just like I remembered like the elevator and all that stuff and whatnot.
I think we're the same. I remember the accident in the end. I didn't really remember the whole murder thing.
I remembered that.
I didn't remember how that went down.
I didn't really remember. Actually might have been just like a smaller part of the film. I think I didn't really remember when the tech support thing happens and everybody gets quiet. Like that, I was like, "Oh, I don't remember this part." But everything else is kind of like spotty for me.
I don't want to forget it. We can get it because it's kind of more towards the end of the episode. But I kind of felt like this in it before. Again, like I said, before I forget it, did you feel like at moments they were kind of from like a storytelling beat? Did you feel like they were sometimes hyper focusing on the wrong thing in moments?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Like, if anything, if you do kind of feel that way, I think it was meant to be. It was specifically hyper focused on that thing to detract from what truly
like a
is
sleight of hand kind of thing.
Yeah,
maybe
like The Prestige.
Yeah.
Ooh. There's two of them. They're twins.
They're
Spoiler.
clones.
No, that's Hugh Jackman.
No, he's a clone because he used the machine one time.
Christian Bale?
Yeah, he used the machine one time, but then Hugh Jackman kept using it.
No.
Yeah, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Right in.
What? No, I don't remember. No, what?
Yeah, I thought he used the machine one time, realized, oh shit, and then that's
no, because the machine isn't even like revealed until the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Christian Bale has a twin.
Anyways, move on.
What?
Not now.
We're gonna look this up after.
Well, I know. I'm like, we'll fight about this later. Not in front of the kids.
What a fucking weird set. All right. Well, let's talk more about the starring.
That's gonna bug the shit out of me.
The prestige thing.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So yeah, we've already talked about Tom Cruise. Leads. What's his name? David Ames.
Who we talked about?
Legend.
Was it only one time?
I think we've only done one Tom Cruise.
We've actually a few of these people we've talked about.
Yeah.
Oh no, Edge of Tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah, I was like, nah, there's one more. But yeah, so we talked about him in 67 and 92, but Last Samurai. I was writing down things that I haven't seen in a long time that I want to rewatch.
Oh, okay.
Like Last Samurai, Minority Report, Top Gun.
I wonder if that's gonna get in the camera. Big's just stretching right next to you.
I don't know. How high did he get? I think it's like right here, right?
Oh, he got him up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
did he? You good, bud? Oh, he's just all size. He's stressed for the stressful life.
He's like, you guys are not paying attention to me.
Okay, I'll pet you.
I don't know. He's in a lot of stuff.
It's Tom fucking Cruise.
I do want to sit down and actually like get caught up with the Mission Impossible movies. I do like them. I don't think they're not like woohoo Mission Impossible, but I'm like it's enjoyable.
It's just it's gotten to the Mission Impossible thing.
It's like, what are they gonna do next?
Are they
gonna go into space?
I'm gonna watch
Fast and Furious.
I'm gonna watch the one that finally kills him.
Yeah, right. It almost happened.
You know what I mean? Like, they made the Mission Impossible. Oh, he died? Okay. Because for those that don't know, he's notorious for doing his own stunts.
And he always gets injured on the set of Mission Impossible.
And the most recent one, there's a scene where he drives a motorcycle off a cliff. They got it pretty much in shot one, basically. And then he's like, no, I think we should do it again. And they did it like 5 more times. So he's an absolute maniac. and in the most respectful way, because
he's our modern evil Knievel.
That's some fucking balls. Like,
yeah.
Just having that mindset of, I'll do it again. You know, you're like,
want me to do it again? I'll do it again. I want to do it again.
This guy's survival.
Don't tell me no.
His survival instincts are, I'm going to live forever.
I believe in Scientology.
Is he still an active one?
He's like one of the like top people.
Well, I know that like so was John Travolta, but I don't think John Travolta is anymore, right?
I'm pretty sure John Travolta is.
Really? I thought he, after his whole...
I think the only person that's left the Scientology that's talked about is Leah Remini.
Okay. I thought John Travolta did. I'm going to look that up, too. I'm just curious. Because I knew there was something going on where he was talking about it, or allegedly talking about it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on.
Yeah, let's not talk about Scientology anymore. I don't want to. I don't want to talk about that anymore.
We want to go to Cameron Diaz next, then?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like Cameron Diaz, Penelope Cruz, like the next top two in my,
Yeah, so Cameron Diaz, who we talked about in episode 15 in Something About Mary, and Very Bad Things in 93, and The Holiday on episode 64.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's come up quite a bit, which I just thought was funny.
I was sitting there, I was like, I know we've done Something About Mary, but I don't think we've done any other one with Cameron Diaz. Nope.
3.
This is number 4. All right.
Who is she in Very Bad Things?
She was the wife.
Oh, fiance.
Yeah, the fiance, who had turned out to be also a fucking psychopath.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, Cameron Diaz plays Julie. Hasn't really done anything in a minute.
No, she kind of retired from acting around like 2014-ish.
Yeah, I think that was the last one.
But I did see on IMDb that she's got like a new show or something coming out with Jamie Foxx.
Oh.
So maybe she just wanted to take a little break, get some shit ducks in the row type thing. And I'm pretty sure she's coming back as Fiona in the Shrek reboot.
Oh, I forgot that was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So weird.
Very strange. We'll see what happens.
I'm kind of...
they're going to go super meta with it, right?
Well, yeah, but it's also that like the Shrek series is very topical in its humor.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be if they continue that, it might be really funny to like just it's basically gonna be an updated script on today's world. So that would be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Because like in the second one, there's an entire cop sequence. Good nights, bad boys. Like what are they? TikTok.
Yeah, there's gonna be
there's gonna be all these things that. Oh my god.
Okay, we need to stop talking about Shrek.
OnlyFans.
Oh,
what can you
only
do?
Ogres.
Only ogres.
Only princesses.
Let's go.
Only ogres. All right. Yeah, it's Cameron Diaz. We've done, and I think she's absolutely fantastic in this. I think everyone in this movie is absolutely fantastic, acting wise, personally.
She is just like, there's so many red flags with Julie.
I know.
Dude. Stop thinking with your dick.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also,
prick.
but he's also kind of like David is very much that example of like he feels like nothing, he's invincible.
That's what he started.
He talks about it.
He's
He
the
feels
one.
it,
He's
yeah.
the one human that's actually gonna be the one to live forever.
Yeah.
And
then Penelope Cruz,
who's actually reprising her role as Sophia. She was in the Open Your Eyes. Who we talked about in length in Sahara. Is that still somewhere?
Somewhere.
Yeah.
That was that.
That was a practice one.
Yeah, but I think that was our first with mics.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that was our first time actually like micing up.
2 hour long episode.
Yeah.
We were figuring stuff out.
Also, that was a fun episode. We should go back and redo that movie because there's the fun history of like the novel and everything.
Yeah, I was thinking we should do a whole treasure hunting.
Oh, that'd be fun.
thing.
Yeah.
Like those are just fun movies to like. Just broke my watch.
Stop fiddling with
I'm
it.
trying to fix it. Anyways, but yeah, Penelope Cruz. Anything else that you want?
Oh, I mean, she was also in Gothica. She's in Blow.
She is in Gothica. I forgot about.
I really
that.
don't remember her in Gothica. I haven't really seen a lot of movies with her in it, but like I'm very familiar with her. I think it's just because I think she's absolutely just gorgeous. Like I am enamored every time I see her on screen.
Well, and it's also like having a lot of like Spanish speaking titles in the beginning there.
Yeah,
but then also if you think about it, that she also then dated. I don't know if they were married, but then dated Tom Cruise. So you saw her.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You saw her everywhere for a minute.
Fair.
Not in movies, really, specifically, but she was just on magazines. She was just everywhere, So
it's funny. Cruz dating Cruz.
Right? They dated, right?
I don't know.
I didn't look it up. I just had this memory of them because I remember that. Oh, Cruz dating Cruz.
Yeah. We need to pick up at the pace a little bit, also, by the way. We're dragging.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
They dated for a short period?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
They dated for 3 years and split in 2004.
Yeah. So they've dated post this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They yeah.
But yeah, so it's like 3 years, 2004. They met around.
You know what's really amusing to kind of like look at is to see like how often they are at the same height in the movie because
yeah.
Tom Cruise is only 5'7".
Do you want to just do a quick little honorable mentions?
I mean, yeah. Next, I would definitely, Jason Lee plays his best friend. Jason Lee, who most probably recognizable from My Name Is Earl, as Earl. He's also in Kevin Smith films, Mallrats, and Chasing Amy.
Dogma,
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he's the demon.
Yeah, he's a demon in Dogma.
Then we have Kurt Russell, who plays McCabe, who's our psychiatrist. We talked about him in The Thing and 3,000 Miles to Graceland.
Yes.
And then just a couple. Noah Taylor, Timothy Spall.
Noah Taylor's tech support, right?
Yeah, he's tech support.
Yeah.
Timothy Spall, who plays the rat in Harry Potter.
Peter Pettigrew. He's the lawyer in this.
Yeah, Tommy. Tilda Swinton is very bit part, but she pops in. But even Michael Shannon pops up too, which I thought was funny.
Michael Shannon is like the security guard.
I was like, oh, is that it? That looks like him. And then I heard him speak, and I was like, yeah, it's my guy, Michael Shannon. I love Michael Shannon.
For 2001, like it's definitely like kind of the beginning of like the careers of Michael Shannon and Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, is it?
Ish, yeah.
I don't really know much about Tilda Swinton. And we've never actually done a movie of her. Oh, did we not talk about her? She was in Pinocchio.
She was a voice in it, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was Death in the Wood Sprite. Did we?
Interesting.
I don't remember talking about her. Weird.
I think we were talking more about the imagery of that movie more than anything.
The vibe of it.
Well, let's get into reviews.
No, she's been around since '86.
Oh yeah, but like, she like I feel like around like Constantine when she played the angel, like when her like big Hollywood break came
Well, this
through.
looks like her big first Hollywood movie. Yeah, interesting. And then Constantine and interesting. Okay, yeah. Give us our scores and then I'll pull that up.
A very interesting spread of scores. IMDb. So I'm actually very curious what you're gonna get. what you were going to bring up. Because IMDb, it's got a 6.9, which I feel is kind of low, actually. I would expect it somewhere in the 7s. And then Rotten Tomato, the tomato meter rating is 43. So like critics were just like meh with this. And then audience score is 72. So, which I think actually, when I found out that this was a remake of like an acclaimed like Mexican film, I was like, oh, okay. I can see why critics were probably like okay, like especially like 4 years. It came out like Open Your Eyes came out in 97. This came out in 2001. Mm-hmm. It was like Tom Cruise watching it. It was like, I want it.
Basically, yeah.
So there's probably just like a lot of like comparison between the two, I think, with critics to kind of like knock this down. But audience, I mean, yeah, I can say that's why I thought it like 7s would be higher for IMDb. Because like for audiences, I think this is like a lot more, like enjoyable.
Well, yeah, but on Metacritic, the Metascore is 45, so mixed or average.
Wow.
Going with 12 positive, 12 mixed, and 9 negative.
These are all like actual like general like editorial reviewers, right?
Yeah.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Yeah, 43 on Rotten Tomatoes, so yeah.
But yeah, so it's 12, 12, and 9, which I thought was interesting. Let's see. So for positive, 83 out of 100, William Arnold at the Seattle Post Intelligencer, a mostly fascinating, often frustrating, boldly uncommercial Hollywood version of a boldly uncommercial art film. It's very atypical of the previous work of both director and star, and it's as personal a film I suspect as Cruz will ever make.
Fair, okay.
And then I made a little note.
Yeah, I wonder how much of like Tom Cruise like weirdly related to the character of David Ames. Of feeling like on top of the world,
Yeah. This kind of goes when Roger Ebert gave it 75. It's the kind of movie you don't want to analyze until you've seen it 2 times. Now that I've seen it twice, I think I understand it, or maybe not. Certainly it's entertaining as it rolls along.
I don't think this movie's hard to understand. Your first time watch, yes, I can see you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? Mm-hmm. After a second time, it's clear what the fuck is happening. 100% in my opinion. The way that it's crafted, the way that it's like, shown to us, like it's clear as the sky.
I think that the thing though too is that if you it's a very eat the carrot kind of movie, because if you do start to hyper analyze it, you start seeing faults.
I guess.
But the premise itself of the whole simulation thing it has its faults, but it also in its own right creates this barrier in which it's like, well, let's
finish the review.
Okay. I just made a note of certain ones and I was like, actually that's not what I care about anymore. Like I thought this was funny. 60 out of 100, Jonathan Rosenbaum at Chicago Reader. Very short. It reeks of unearned profanity, but I found it entertaining.
That's so fair.
Yeah, like it's like,
oh man, yeah.
Yeah, like it's like,
damn.
Look how clever we are.
Look what we copy and pasted, guys, and then kind of dressed up with some other stuff.
50 out of 100, Kenneth Terrain at Los Angeles Times. Though Vanilla Sky is smoothly and professionally done, even audience who haven't seen the original will sense there is something lost in the translation. Which I was kind of saying. I was like, it feels... And the very negative, all the way down to the bottom, 10 out of 100, Stephen Hunter at Washington Post. Overblown and idiotic, this new erotic thriller is neither erotic nor thrilling. It's long, boring, and self-indulgent.
Who said it was an erotic thriller?
He did.
Okay. I don't even... Okay. Sure. Moving past that one.
Richard Corliss, 20 out of 100 at Time. Every ambitious picture maker should be allowed one misfire at no lasting cost to his reputation. Crowe can now put this aside and go back to making good films.
That's so crazy. I feel like if this movie was made today, it might get better response. Like, because I feel like the premise of this is a lot more. I feel like shit like this is like simulate, and ideas like this are a lot like they're more around, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's one really long episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah. Well, I mean, an episode of Black Mirror is sometimes 2 hours long. So.
Are there?
Yeah, there's been a couple. They're like an hour 45. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I fell off of that shit. I was like, I can't deal with any more existential crisis. I'm good.
Yeah, this movie is 2 hours 15 minutes or so.
It's a little too long, I think, personally.
Yeah.
There's some beats you could have, yeah. That mask is so scary. It's like an unmarked Barbie Tom Cruise.
David used to quote that part of the movie and do that weird Tom Cruise, just like randomly would be talking and then he would, I forget what he says right there. But like, yeah, David just all of a sudden just starts like moving like Tom Cruise, and I was like, who the fuck are you right now?
But yeah, I guess let's get into it. I'm kind of discombobulated.
Well, I mean, like, it's interesting. I like that one review that kind of like talked about it. It's like it's like unoriginality or whatever. Like the fact that this wasn't an original idea for Cameron Crowe or Tom Cruise. It was they watched Open Your Eyes and they're like, that's awesome. Let's make it for us. So that kind of like takes out some of the power of like the creativity behind it. But I feel like they did create, they made something that is enjoyable to watch and enough to think about and compelling to like through twists and turns. Because like you said, like Fight Club is a movie that's like, the spoiler at the end. There's Mulholland Drive. You got to watch a couple of times to really get everything of Mulholland Drive. There's this like weird time travel movie that's one of my regulars reminded me of called Primer. And like, it's one of those movies you have to watch a couple of times to really get it.
Yeah.
And it's just so clear to me now after this last watch is that the opening moment of the movie is a dream of him, going through New York empty. So they've already established this dream idea that we're going to be experiencing in the movie. And then you get the reality of David Ames and, Julie and Sophia and what's Jason Lee's name? Brian and whatnot. And you see his relationships with all of them and the dynamic that it is. And then the car accident and everything that happens to him, his like fall from fame or whatever, or top of the world. And it was just like, as soon as like he falls asleep in the alleyway or on the street after the club,
night, yeah.
Also very awkward. Both Sophia runs the fuck away from him.
What the fuck was that about?
And then Brian runs the fuck away from him. It's like, I was like, damn, they really need to get away from this guy's how they're feeling.
That was so weird.
Yeah, that was the kind of a strange choice. But he wakes up and you can just clearly tell immediately something is different because the sky is not the color of the regular sky. It is now the color of that Monet painting from his mother.
Yeah, but they did a good job of blending that in enough that all those kind of signs, that again, watching it the second time, you kind of pick up on them a little bit more.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But it's like, if you're watching it for the first time, it's like, it's just off a little bit that you can kind of feel like something's going on, but you don't really
Everything
know.
is just slightly off, but feels so real.
Yeah.
Even like Sophia, how she's like, all right, I'm just going to tell you how this is going to be. Because even like, there's a moment where he has a dream with Sophia before this dream. Mm-hmm. So it's like he's kind of weirdly obsessed with this girl.
Yeah, it's like, I want to say it's young infatuation, but the guy's like 33.
Yeah, and what it is that it was that spark of like what love could be, and it's the first time he's actually had that.
Yeah,
and then he just had a tragic event, so he's kind of connected these together.
Yeah,
and it's like in part of his mind is like, if that if I don't have this tragic event, I could be in love with this person. So he's like in love with the idea of this love. Or infatuated.
She becomes the what my life could have been.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
You know, which is where the subconscious thing later on of Julie replacing Sophia is his guilt, and like that's why he's seeing Julie as Sophia.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, it's a fucking mind fuck of a movie, but when you start to when you watch it a couple of times, it starts to make sense. Because also tech support just flat out explains everything in the last 10 minutes of the goddamn film.
Well, yeah, but it's also like that's kind of the barrier thing I was talking about, because like the whole take the red pill or blue pill kind of moment where we can like kind of reset this dream and you can continue living in this lucid thing, or you can go back to the real world, but know that it's been 150 years.
Yeah.
Things are different. That kind of is a limitation, because it's like you're not really giving David the full information to actually make an educated decision.
Yeah.
You're kind of in a sense asking him to die.
Yeah.
Again, because it's like what now the real world is this, especially with David being in this simulation for as long as he have, is the afterlife, the over the horizon.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just kind of, but I was like, but that's the limitations, because the only information that David's gonna have is whatever he already had going into.
Yes.
Because they don't really explain that tech support as being a person. It almost seems like more of like a limited AI program.
Yeah.
It's not actually someone popping into your dream and being like, hey, I plugged into, my name is Bill. Yeah, it's just your router, you know?
And I guess that is another thing, is like the idea of like, well, is this simulation or is this dream? And what is really the difference between that? Because it's a dream, nothing more than just like a simulation that your brain does itself. But how if he's just being like frozen, also Benny the dog, the reoccurring thing of that, like there's gotta be, in some sense or way, they are plugged into his brain to see what he's seeing, or for someone from tech support to like be present in there, you know, kind of like an Inception type fucking thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like it's never fully explained, and I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Like you just got to eat the carrot type thing, just kind of accept it for what it is.
Yeah, because you know, like that's what I was saying. There's this kind of already implanted limitations to this technology and this theory and all this. But it was another review I was reading, and they kind of made a good point that even towards the end of the movie, this elevator scene you're talking to, they really do kind of just bombard you as the audience member
with everything.
If you weren't able to figure it out, here are the cliff notes.
Yeah.
And that's also kind of really jarring, because you're kind of piecing it together with David, and then he's like, tell me everything. And then they literally just kind of word vomit the entire situation.
That was actually kind of an interesting thing, is that I read somewhere where they were talking about how Cameron Crowe like specifically shot it and made it go in a way like he didn't want to like foreshadow or lean too much into like the audience starting to know before
he wanted them to know.
Before David knew, he wanted the audience to discover with David.
Oh.
So he wanted the journey to be like, we are going on this journey with or as David, in a sense.
Well, then I also do feel like they did I don't know. And watching it and knowing, I feel like I can say this, that they did a good job of bearing the lead enough on this whole simulation and stuff. Enough with the possibility that David was just actually losing his mind from whether it be the initial injury that he sustained in the car accident or the procedures that followed after to put him back to normal, you know, fix his injuries, that they really did make it like it did just kind of seem like a guy that was losing his mind.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit, no, this is just a nightmare. So that was kind of cool. especially watching with someone that didn't someone that didn't remember it at all, and just with like her little, my mom's like comments and stuff, kind of like she was becoming under the impression that he was just losing it. Mm-hmm. Not that there was any kind of like simulation thing happening on the side.
You should look up really quick on Wikipedia, the Vanilla Sky Wikipedia. There's like 5 theories of what this movie is. And I think it's clear that the tech support one is the one. But the other 4 are kind of interesting to just kind of look at. And one of them...
Where is this? Oh, interpretations? Mm-hmm. Oh, they're there.
So yeah, there's tech support. Read them out.
So 1, tech support is the telling truth. 150 years have passed, and Ames killed themselves, and subsequent events from a lucid dream.
The one.
The ending, yeah. The entire film is a dream, evidenced by a sticker on Ames' car that reads 2/30/01. February does not occur in the...
Okay, so I looked that up, and whoever fucking wrote that, I want that deleted because I found the sticker, and it's like the date is like 03/01 or 03/30 or 05. Like, I know what sticker that they're talking about on the car. I freeze framed it. I looked at it hard for like 10 minutes. And I was like, that is not a 2. They're not talking about February. Also, it's in the dream sequence at the beginning of the movie, so it doesn't even fucking matter. Sorry. Yeah, okay, we can go. The next one, please.
You feel better?
Yes.
Call back to last episode. 3, the events after the crash are a dream Ames has while comatose.
Yeah.
Okay. 4, the entire film is the plot of the book that Brian is writing.
Yeah, right?
That's cool. 5, the entire film after the crash is a hallucination caused by drugs administered during Ames during reconstructive surgery. So 3 and 5 kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, and they also kind of, I feel like it's like those seem like people just didn't want to accept 1. So they're like, we're reaching, trying to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, but people have fun doing that. Sometimes it's just someone's hobby to be like, what if?
Well,
what
yeah.
if, like, I mean, I like the book one.
That one is kind of interesting.
Cool. Like that Brian is just sitting, because, there is this kind of animosity towards his friend. Mm-hmm. It's a jealousy, And so he's just sitting there just like basically fantasizing about his friends, his good-looking rich friend's downfall. It's kind of funny. But I like Brian too, because
can you imagine? It's like, we almost died and your life flashed before my eyes.
Yeah, he was funny. Like, I liked Brian. Like, or that. Oh my God, a seam's coming undone. But granted, that's the dream. Yeah, that's another fucking thing. Is like watching it again in retrospect. It's so clear how much Sophia and Brian, the way that they interact with David, is 100% what David wants. It's like this is a projection of how he would want them to be to him. Well, that's the thing too, is that when Brian is now reappeared in the dream state, his entire look has changed. He's a little more put together, a little more clean.
100%, yeah.
But then David turns that into paranoia about how the 7 dwarves are paying him off.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, this is your projection of Brian.
Yes.
So once that's the whole watching it again thing, you're like, oh my God, like, no, this is your projection of what you want your friend to be. But then you now have turned it into a paranoia. It's kind of cool,
it's like the fucking nightmare of it all.
But that's what I'm saying, is this movie just on a paper level of just like very base is a very cool idea. That's really what it is to me personally. It feels very self-indulgent, really patting itself on the back. And it is just, there's these, like, the beats. Some of the beats are just so long.
But I feel like it's weirdly necessary for them to be that way for what it is. Well, maybe not so.
Maybe not. Like, not as heavy-handed.
The entire like ending of like him talking with Sophia and saying goodbye to the created version of her in his head didn't have to be as long as it was.
No, but there's also things like that scene, because this was not the dream scene, but when he's talking about when he's taking back his company. No, that was the dream. Right? I'm like, okay, wait. Yeah, because he got back the company in the real world with the help of Thomas.
Yeah.
In the dream, he did it on his own via video calls and stuff. Right? There's that scene where he's like, and I did my homework, and he's walking and he's reading all the memos on the floor. That's the dream world, right?
Fuck, I'm having a hard time like
placing where that is.
Cause I feel like No, I feel like
Was that real world?
I think that was real world, because
I think it is too, because I remember being annoying because it's like that's not that.
the way that everything's laid out, like
You're
that.
doing that for the shot, not the
Yeah,
practicality. It's
yeah.
like you could have had him sitting there with all the memos and actually reading them all. And
Because
I don't
there
know.
is, like, yeah, no,
that
he, like,
feels pat on the back.
he like wins it back, but it's as they talk about at the end, like he wins it back, but he still can't focus. The headaches still are constantly there, and that's what causes him to go into LE, because even though he's got his company back, he can't function.
Yeah. Well, and I think that too is this movie did have shots like that, the paper on the floor thing, but even that whole the carrot thing, but that whole like the company needs you basically to kill yourself.
Yeah.
To then put you into this program, this ice machine,
Yeah.
the cryogenic freezing thing. But like the shot of them showing that is this real rock bottom in a weird hotel alone, just taking handfuls of pills thing.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, well, this is like a medical procedure, right? Wouldn't you be in a facility or in maybe a comfortable room, to create a comfortable environment? And then you're like next door, and then they give you a thing, and then you go to sleep, and then they grab you and they throw you in the tub, like, you know what I mean? But like there was this really dramatic of him hitting rock bottom and finally committing and you're kind of like, because when I thought about this movie, I thought that it was like this. I remembered it being like almost like a donor card, like he has signed this thing, and if he had died, they were gonna do this procedure on him. But then I was like, oh no, he went ahead and he signed away this contract and then basically planned out this procedure,
This lucid dream
thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but they just have him, hey, whatever you find in your house, eat it.
I think they gave him the pills to take.
Yeah, but it's just, but again, it's the way it's shot. It doesn't imply that. It kind of
It does. It feels like he like rented some like
seedy hotel.
Yeah, and killed himself in it.
And again, for me, that's like that. They wanted to make this kind of gritty, like I said, sad shot, and it's like, well, you did that. That's fine, but it doesn't fit with the narrative you're creating.
The implication of it, that what you're showing doesn't really symbolize. It's you're creating a symbolized idea as opposed to
what goes into your world.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's kind of where the pat on the back comes. I feel like there was just a lot of shots to do the shot.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's like a reason to it, but I was thinking actually while we were setting up, I was like, what is with the first dream and the Porsche instead of the Mustang? Is that again just...
I didn't pick that up, actually.
Like he's driving this really nice Porsche, which you're kind of like, I wouldn't...
But he has a Porsche in the real world, too, because he comes out with the same car.
No, when he comes in the real world, he's driving a Mustang.
I did not
A
put
really
that together.
cool, dark, like evergreen Mustang. I thought it was black, and then you catch it in the light, and it's a really cool green. But yeah, no, he pulls out in a Porsche, and then when he wakes up and he starts his day again, it's this Mustang. And I was like, the Porsche is that supposed to be like this idea of his status? But if that's his status, why isn't he driving a Porsche? If he wants a Porsche, why doesn't he get a Porsche?
I mean, that could just be... I don't know. I don't want to dig deep into that right now.
Did I ever say his parents died in an accident, right?
Yeah.
Did they die in a Porsche?
Maybe.
Did we miss that?
I don't know.
Anyway, cool. Yeah. But it's like, it's really frustrating to watch too. Like if we talk about Julie for a minute and the red flags.
Yeah.
You're sitting there and you're like, as an audience member, you're like, dude, there are so many red flags in this relationship.
And, well, it's like,
But then
he's
you're like-
also like, he's like treating her like absolute shit too. Like it's clear that this woman is really into you and you're just stringing her along. And that's kind of like who he is.
I wouldn't, but that's the thing though. It takes two to tango.
Yeah.
It's like he keeps calling her friend. It's pretty clear that he thinks of her as a fuck buddy.
Yeah.
But he is stringing her along, but she also doesn't. She thinks that she can change him. That
Yeah.
she's going to be the one to break the cycle. That she's
Yeah.
more, so it's like, no, it's both of you. You both.
Julie, I didn't invite you.
Yeah. I'm like, it's both of you. Mm-hmm. Both of you need to knock this off. One of you needs to rip off the Band-Aid, and she decided to drive it off a bridge instead.
Yeah. Well, you could tell that he was on the. There's an interesting thing is like when he leaves Sophia's apartment, you get this sense of he is a changed person.
That's actually also for this movie, in my opinion, that's actually one of the better acted scenes of Tom Cruise in this movie. And well, them too, their chemistry in that.
Are you talking about him and Sophia?
No, him and Julie.
Oh, okay.
That interaction really felt real because she's got her eyes welling up.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that she's trying to like keep it together.
Yeah.
He can kind of pick up on this isn't.
Yeah.
Something's not right here because he's really even with his body language, he's really resistant. He's kind of gravitating towards her because he wants.
But there's also it's like an addict like behavior for him towards Julie right there as well.
But that's the thing with him is like I got a feeling that he did care about Julie in a sense.
Yeah.
He just wasn't romantically.
I mean, they had sex 4 times. That means something in one day.
Yeah, so it's like because and then that's what that kind of push and pull I kind of felt was like he can tell she's upset, so he wants to take care of wants to help in that situation somehow, but he also wants to keep it as an arm's length because he doesn't want to be vulnerable with her.
Yeah,
I just thought that scene really, you could feel that push and pull between the two of them.
Yeah,
and you're just sitting there like, don't get in the car, don't get in the car, don't get in the car. He's gonna get in the car. He got the car. Well, I was even sitting there watching it, and I was like, dude, pull the emergency brake now. And then as the scene kept progressing, I was just like, oh, dude, she's going at a speed that even if you were going to do that, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You had like a 5-second window to be like, nope. And then, but she's going at that speed. You pull that brake. You're going to go somewhere that you don't want to go.
Yeah.
And gosh, I got to say that's a really tense scene.
It is. It's one of my favorite. It's honestly actually one of my favorite scenes in a movie altogether ever, really. One of them, like because of the Cameron Diaz is just like devolve into just anger and acceptance of what she's about to do. Like how it's just like she's like, if I recorded an album, would you write an article about it? He's like,
and then he's a schmuck about it.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, of course. And then she's like, boom, haha, what do you think of it? He's like, it's vivid. Like, what is what?
As long as you can reach one person, when she's like, I'd buy a CD. You know, he's just kind of being he's bullying, teasing her in a very mean way.
Yeah. Like it's like because he's also like you can start to tell like he's like, I'm in a situation that I can't really get out of right now. And so he's kind of also saying the wrongs. Yeah, it's really weird. But then even like when she's like, what does happiness look like to you? Like, do you love me? Like, do you believe in God? Like, it's the
second she says believe in God, you're like, it's over, bro. Well, it's just interesting though too, because there's just part of you that gets angry because there's the whole party thing where she wasn't invited, and then she shows up, and then she shows up outside the.
Yeah,
but there's a part of you that's angry at watching this situation because you're like, you're stupid. Like, why are you getting? Why no? Run away! But it's like in that situation. I'm sure many people have found themselves in a situation where they're like, nah, this is going to be awkward. I'm just going to scoot along. But for some reason, there's this human innate need to not be the bad guy, to not be the asshole. So it's like, okay, I guess I'll talk to you about this,
Yeah.
Even though I really don't want to. It's the polite thing to do. And now you're driving and really fast and asking me if I believe in God.
And then you're saying that you swallowed my cum and that means something.
And you're yelling at me. You're letting go of the steering wheel. Like, this escalated. This escalated very quickly.
I killed a guy.
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
All right. We're at like an hour.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Where do you feel?
I will say, though, I think one thing I did specifically think about that I wanted to bring up is that at the end of this movie, we're talking about the leap of faith and all this, whatever. The scene where the doctor, Kurt Russell, discovers that he is an extension of someone else's mind is really sad.
Yeah.
It's like the saddest.
I'm real.
It's the one.
I'm real.
And then the tech guy is like, he's just trying to prove kind of like ignore him. He just obviously he wants to keep existing, but it doesn't matter. He's not real. Yeah. Is basically what he says, and you're like, this poor but what's funny is that when the acceptance happens, you notice that when the acceptance does happen, that this is all simulation. the doctor stopped because David's mind was no longer trying to keep the projection going.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's like little details like that I was
exactly. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
No, it's like that's why I think this movie is actually really, really good.
It's a very interesting watch.
I mean, we need to watch Open Your Eyes and see.
Yeah, I'm really
the
curious.
differences and similarities.
I'm very curious about Open Your Eyes. Oh, I don't know.
Abre los ojos. In a weird way, personally, for me, and we don't have to give it this rating, but for me, I actually kind of put this at a 4.5.
Whoa.
Like, that's how much I personally do like this movie.
So your personal's a 4.5?
Yeah. But critically and everything, also knowing that it's a remake, like that kind of like, meh.
I kind of want to go with the Metacritic thing and just give it a 3 right in the middle because that's kind of how it landed. It was positive, it was 12, 12, and 9.
Fair.
Because there is a lot to really, really like about it. And then there's a lot that I personally found like to be a problem. And I kind of think that maybe it was just a little... I don't think it was fully baked because there are those really cool little details that we were talking about that it's cool they thought of that and then put that in there. But then there's other moments where it's like you needed a little something else to fully...
I wonder if like one of the things that's kind of like the problem with this movie is the fact that you do have to watch it really more than once to really understand it. Like some movies that's fine, but like
I see what you're saying.
Like
Fight Club, you don't need to watch
a second time. It's
cool.
It's enjoyable to watch a second time again
because you start picking up on things.
Yeah,
this you do kind of
need to watch twice.
Yeah,
to really understand.
And then to pick up on the little nuances,
which is kind of I don't know, like. Not arrogant, but like for a filmmaker to be like pretentious. Thank you. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna make this movie that's so interesting. You have to watch it 3 times, and then maybe you'll get it.
But I mean, that's also assuming that was the idea going into it.
Well, and I think that's might be inherently kind of what the thing that Cameron Crowe ended up doing was like how he wanted the audience to discover with David and not not lean into it so the audience gets ahead of everything. For your first sit through, which then it's also like he does it perfectly, which then I think makes it a really good film. But then with doing that, it makes you have to watch it a second time.
Well, you also have to keep in mind though too that like I mean I think that you and I have talked about this, but Tom Cruise is a very involved actor, but in this he's actually one of the producers. So you also have to keep in mind about how much was Tom chiming in. To where this was going to go, especially being the lead and that attachment he feels to what he wants his David to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's an alternate ending of this that came out on a Blu-ray 2015 revealed that has like SWAT teams chasing them in the fucking
what?
Yeah, we'll look it up. Let's not talk about it right now. But I see what you're saying. That you just made me think that felt just very Tom Cruise to me in a weird way. You know, I see what you're saying with that. But I do got to say that Tom Cruise's performance in this is really... His meltdowns, they're very uncomfortable, and it makes sense. They should be uncomfortable.
You're talking about like the club scene and stuff?
The club scene.
At the doctor's office.
The doctor's office. Oh, he also he's like, do you fucking think this is about vanity? I can't think.
Yeah. Well, that was a cool moment too because that shows the growth thing of like he's now putting that aside. Like he just wants to be able to think clearly and he can't.
But then it kind of like contradicts himself when he shows up at the club with the mask that maybe it is a bit more about a vanity as well. Or it's just like...
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that's vanity. That's comfortability.
Yeah.
That's just that's him very uncomfortable in his skin. And
but then the way that he fucking reacts like, no, the mask is blah, 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 blah. It's like, he'd be like, he could have just been like, I just feel more comfortable wearing this right now.
Well, the thing is that even like and they kind of touch on it, but they really, really, what he needed to do was way more extensive mental therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Which he clearly was not doing. Like he had a lot of pent up anger and that he was not taken out the right way, you know?
Oh, a fun thing that I never put together until this time when they were talking about David yelling out the name Ellie. while he's sleeping. It's L-E, not L-E.
Oh.
He was calling for tech support.
Ellie. Oh.
Yeah, right?
Oh, and I did catch, too, that everything on the TVs in the dream state was things that he already watched.
Yeah, and most of the time it was Benny the fucking dog.
Which I thought was interesting because it's like, yeah, it's not new. It's all going to be projections.
Exactly.
I think that this needs to be 3. I agree with the critics. It's like it's kind of polarized. It's like it is something you really like, and it's like if we we're sitting here with other people, and this person said I absolutely hate it, and this person absolutely love it. I go, I get it.
I'm telling them they're wrong.
I'm like from a film standpoint, I get it, and I get it. Like I'm very much in the middle, but the thing is, I really enjoy it. I would give it higher, but I think for the point of a review, I think that it's a very good movie.
Are you with me on like personally, it's kind of like a 4.5, or is it not that high for you?
I would say 3.5 to a 4.
Okay,
more closer to a 4 if we were doing more
fair
of that kind of system, because. But also that watching it again, I got more out of it, catching some things that I was just like, oh, those are cool little details or even the kind of you don't know what you don't know moment where, Sophia shows up. Sophia shows up at the funeral. And it kind of opens up this, well, what if he had stayed? What if he
also, is that a projection in his mind?
Yeah, there's like a lot of cool stuff.
It's like tech support's telling David what Brian did for him, so now he's imagining what his wake would look like.
But he made all the final requests, so he could have told them to tell him that.
Yeah.
Because they can erase memories and stuff. So he's like, if I do start deciding I want to stay up, be woken up, these are the things I need you to tell me to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just definitely interesting watch. But yeah, I say a 3. It's very good. Aged a little bit. There's some of the special effects are
meh. The prosthetics on his face like kind of come and go depending on the lighting.
Yeah. But,
all right.
Yeah, so let's just give it a 3.
We can wrap this up.
What are we doing next week?
I don't know. I can't remember. I don't want to. It's what?
Room and Row.
Either that or Total Recall.
Okay, one of those. Okay.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Yeah, follow us on Instagram for all of our posts and promotions. On all those, you can find our link tree that will take you to everywhere that we post our episodes. We're also on YouTube. It's Tommy and Jacob's Mixtape, TJ's Mixtape. Like, follow, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Reviews will help us get our stuff more out there. And other than that, I think that's everything. So that was Vanilla Sky. We gave it a 3 out of 5 carrots. This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's Mixtape.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.